everyone. Welcome to Next in Queue. I'm your host, Rob Dwyer, and joining me today is an old friend, Nestor Castillo. Nestor, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Good to see you, my friend, and very happy to see all the success that you've been having with the podcast. I don't think anybody could have done a better job because of
Uh,
all the great things that you have done. I'm very humbled to be here, and I love it.
well, I appreciate that. I'm always humbled by the generosity of all the guests that join, the generosity of their time. And we're actually recording this a little bit ahead of time. This is actually our New Year's special episode, but we're not quite to New Year's yet. We're knocking this out early. But I do want to wish everyone Happy New Year's, and I hope 2022 is a fantastic year for everyone. But with that out of the way, let's talk about Nestor. First of all, let's talk, tell us a little bit about how you got started in this business, because you've been in this business a long time. I don't want to make you feel old or anything, but you've been at it a while. Tell us how you got your start.
Well, it's interesting because, like a lot of us, we never woke up one day and say, "Hey, I'm going to work on a BPO." And back in the days when I started, it wasn't really something that people were looking forward to. So I actually was working construction in New York. Had a pretty good job doing work for the city and private works as well. Pretty good salary. And I hurt my back in one of the jobs that we were doing. I went to the doctor and he said that I needed to take some time off, about 3 months. And at that time, I was starting off my family. I was like, I can't be out of work for 3 months. So I went to a recruiting agency and they sent me to this office that I was going to work because that's what they used to call it at that time. So I went to the office and I started working. I saw that there was potential for me. I always loved sales and it was an opportunity to sell long distance. So I went to the job interview. I like it. They hire me. I say, okay, I'm going to be here for 3 months and I'm going to come back. 3 months passed by and I just fell in love with this job. I mean, dealing with people, being able to see how people develop themselves, how I was able to develop myself, being able to have contact with individuals every day that I can in some way, somehow change their lives, whether it was the customers on the phone or my peers at work. And that's who I was my whole life. And I had a conversation with my wife, and we knew we were going to take a big time pay cut, but this is what my passion was. And 27 years later, I regret not 1 second of what the decision that I made back in there.
Awesome. Oh, one of the things that I often tell people about this business is, aside from just all the people that you meet, and there is an amazing diversity of people that you meet, and it's one of my favorite parts, but there's also, in particular, in the BPO side of contact centers. So for those people that aren't aware of that terminology, BPO, business process outsourcer, that is a company that handles contacts and potentially other things, back office. There are lots of things that a BPO might handle for another company. So there's a difference between insourced and outsourced. Insource, you do it yourself. Outsource, you're using a partner to handle some business. But one of the things that BPOs have such a different opportunity with is because they are geographically diverse. A lot of the larger BPOs have locations all over the world. And, I know when I worked for one of those larger BPOs, Convergys, which is actually where we met, I got to do a little bit of traveling for the role that I had there, but not like you, Nestor. You have actually traveled a lot of different places and like relocated for
Mm-hmm.
work. So tell me a little bit about that, because you're in Georgia now, right?
Correct.
But where all has this world taken you?
Well, it all started here in the United States. I had the opportunity with Convergys to travel to different locations within the United States to support programs that were having challenges. And then the opportunity opened up when we opened up in Latin America, and we were having some challenges. So I was asked to if I could move to the South America for a period of time. So talked to my family. We say, let's do it. It's going to be 8 to 12 months. So went to Colombia, Bogota, Colombia, spent 5 incredible years in Bogota. We were able to do a lot of great things. The talent in there, it's incredible. We were able to help the company to grow. And to this day, I have a lot of peers of mine and friends and individuals that I work with in there who are holding a lot of the director positions in many companies over there. Then from there, I came back to the United States for about 8 months. I was here in Florida for 8 months. Then they sent me back to Honduras in Central America. So I was there for another 9 months. That was my second tour to Honduras, because during the 5 years that I was in Bogota, I also went to Honduras for a couple of months as well. Same thing, a lot of talent, a lot of individuals that are very committed to what they do. Left a lot of good friends and a lot of individuals with great talent that are doing great things over there. Then from there, had the opportunity to go to the Dominican Republic, and as well met a lot of great individuals in there. I was able to, from there as well, manage programs in Costa Rica, and for a short period of time as well in Jamaica. So gave me a great exposure to the different markets that are out there, and compare it to what we have here in the United States. The experience have been great for myself and my family. But more than anything, it just helps you to see that even within individuals that might be from the same race, is so much variance in how individuals react to coaching, you know, incentives and all kind of things, and the expectations that they have of their managers changes from one country to the other one. So it really has opened my horizon and make me a much better leader in the roles that I have held, because it helps you to open your mind to see that each individual, when it comes to that word individual, is really an individual itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I just recently over Thanksgiving had on Jose Moreno, who I know you know
Yes.
from Honduras, and you touched on something that is really interesting to me, and I don't think that we think about this very often, but that is just the cultural differences that you encounter from country to country, or even sometimes location to location, right? Even in the US,
Mm-hmm.
there are some cultural differences depending on what part of the US that you're in. But I'm wondering, with all of these different experiences, what was the maybe biggest challenge that you ran into when you were moving somewhere, something that you had to get used to that was unexpected?
I would say is acceptance, and it comes acceptance from both parts, right? Acceptance from the individuals that you're going to work with, and then acceptance from your part to understand that the people that you're going to be working with, they might be looking for different things than the one that you have been doing before, and then help them to understand that your management style, it might be different than the one that they have seen before. And once you break that barrier, that individuals understand you're there to do your best, and then you understand that these individuals, although different and acting in a different way, they also are doing their best to be able to be successful. That's the number one, I would say, challenge that you have to overcome. Of course, as you mentioned, the behaviors that you see in the different places, although different, they might have a little bit of similarity, more different, a lot more different than what you see here in the United States.
Yeah, that really hits home with me. I remember when I was much younger, back in the day, when I was in a different industry entirely, and I was relocated with the company that I was working for from Kansas City to Minneapolis, and I was managing a whole new team there. And that acceptance that you're talking about and gaining trust of people that you didn't know before, because it's different, right? When you move up in an organization in one location, like, you kind of know most of the people, they know what you're about. When you just show up one day, it's a very different experience, because you have to start building those relationships really quickly.
Mm-hmm. And you need to start immediately to identify who are going to be your allies, because you're not going to be able to do this alone. I mean, this business that we're in is a business of people and team. And the faster that you start finding your allies that are going to be able to speak for you and to able to see your vision and being able to be part of that vision, and then they can help you to spread that into the rest of the team, the easier the transition is going to be.
Yeah, for sure. You can't do it alone, right?
No, this is not an alone business.
No, it's definitely not. So I'm doubly excited to have another one of my bald and beautiful friends on. I got to ask you about when you decided to do this bit. Tell me the story behind that.
Oh, that's really funny. Well, for for many years when we were in New York, just I think my youngest daughter was like 4 years old, and my wife and my brother has already shaved his head, and my brother was always telling me about do it, do it, do it. And then my wife started to do the same thing, and she kept telling me, "Oh, you will look good like that." And I was like, "No, no way! I'm not doing this, not ever, no way." So one day, I had my youngest brother came in from serving in the military, and he was one of the tours back at home. So we had a family gathering to receive him and spend some time with him. And I just happened to let me go to the restroom. I go to the restroom. My brother is there, and he's shaving. And I see his head, and I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, you talking about me shaving my head? Let's do it. Go ahead, do it. He's like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I'm serious. Let's do it. So he did it. We did it. He shaved my head. Come out of the bathroom. After going in, not telling anything to anybody. Come out of the bathroom. The greatest thing and sad things at the same time was, I walked out of there. Everybody's in shock. But my little 4-year-old daughter, she just looking at me, and she opened her mouth and she started crying, like crying that nobody could stop her. She's like, oh my God, he lost his hair. Like nobody could stop her. So it took us about an hour to calm her down. But yeah, it was just like, more than anything, because my wife have asked me to do it, and that has been one of the reasons why we're married for over 30 years, is because, do what your wife wants. It's gonna help in the marriage. So, and now, I wouldn't change it for anything. It's so great, as wake up in the morning and not having to worry about it. And when I put together like how much money from going to the barber I have saved throughout the years, it's like it's definitely worth it.
That is too funny. I cannot imagine the reaction that your family had seeing you go into the restroom and then
I'm telling you,
coming out, you're a whole different man.
Yeah, even my wife was like in shock, because she was happy that I did it. She just wasn't expecting it for me to do it, and especially in a date like that where it was everything about, you know, my brother coming and things like that. And then we were trying to get him, but he didn't do it.
It strikes me that when I think about the fact that you've been willing to move so often, and not just move, but move to other countries, that you would just one day tell your brother, "Hey, go ahead. Let's do this. Let's shave my head." You don't seem to fear change the way a lot of people fear change. You seem to just be willing to go for it.
Absolutely not. I mean, if there's one thing that I have learned throughout my career is change is going to be in front of you and behind of you every single day. So you have to be prepared to make changes. And when you change, you improve, you know, you get better because you're doing things that are different, things that probably you have never thought about it. And those changes that you make in life, it helps you to either fix things that have not been perfect or just learn new things that are going to make you better. So for me, you know, changes have been, I feel that the backbone of the experience that I have gained throughout my career.
Yeah, I would imagine too, having spent so much time, and I didn't even mention this, right? In the BPO world, particularly when you're working for some of these larger BPOs, but that's not even smaller BPOs. This happens a lot, right? The clients or the clients that you support change, and you're
Mhm.
constantly learning about different businesses and those kinds of things. What's been some of the more interesting types of businesses that you've supported that you're like, oh man, that was great. I love that.
Um, Probably will have to say um, timeshares. Timeshares
Really?
have been extremely fun. Yeah, it has been extremely fun. See how worked out individuals get for the vacation that they're going to have. When I compare those things, right, and I compare, for example, with healthcare programs that I have managed and how different the point of view is. And but health, you know, timeshare accounts are very fun, very individuals are in a whole different mindset, and even those that are very upset because something might have not go right with something that they have asked for. Once you're able to solve them, then the reactions that you get sometimes. I got a guy that yelled so loud on my ear one time because we were able to fix a problem that he was having. You know, and he just kept yelling and telling things to his wife, and he completely forgot that we were on the phone for him, helping him, because it was just priceless. But yeah, that I think that's one of the ones that are more fun. But always, you know, those healthcare account are some that really gets to you. Sometimes you dealing with individuals that are going through really hard times in life, and being able to put yourself in their position without changing the rules that of what you can do is also something that is very valuable.
You bring up something that I don't think is as recognized about our business as probably that it should be, and that is that that frontline agent work can be really challenging, not just from a technology standpoint. So number one, there's a lot of technology that agents use, and depending on who they're supporting and what business needs there are, that can be a lot of things. But emotionally, it can be really challenging depending on the type of work that you're doing, because again, it's a people business, right?
Mhm.
And um, you could be in just sales or customer care or something like that, and there's some emotion to that, but there are also other types of roles that you might be supporting that have a whole different expectation. Aside from just healthcare and the challenges that go along with that, what other types of roles or clients that you've supported did you find particularly challenging because of the needs, whether they were emotional needs or technology needs or whatever?
I'll say in the telecom business is very tricky. I supported one particular client that I've been supporting for about 18 years now, and various different type of programs that they have. And because from one particular area of their business to another one, there's things that you can and you cannot do. But you find the same customer. You find the same customer that has the same problem. The customer doesn't change. And the fact that you cannot provide that customers, let's say, for example, on the healthcare program, right, that we were mentioning, there are things that are very delicate that you have to keep in mind. But on the telecom part, right, so individuals, they need their cell phone for business. We have seen in the pandemic and in other particular cases where having a cell phone that works for the first responders and all of those is something that is critical. And the fact that sometimes you cannot do things that you say, okay, if I can help Rob to get this, I know that he is going to be helping more people in the line of business that he does. It's frustrating. And I have frontline agents that have come in crying to me because they're not able to do something for that customer, understanding what that customer can and cannot do because we cannot provide them with a solution at that time.
Right. Yeah. Look, cell phones, I remember, when I was in college, right? That was kind of the new cool thing. It was such a, I remember that candy bar cellular one phone that I was so excited to have that I could store 99 different phone numbers in. That's not the world that we're in today. Mm-hmm. Today, when it comes to telecom, the cell phone and your internet service, those are critical to how we live and work today. I mean, I think we've seen during the pandemic too, right? A good internet connection makes all the difference in the world. If you work in a role that allows you to work from home, that's one of the things that companies, needed to do really quickly was pivot and get people to work from home. If you live in an area that doesn't have great internet service, that's problematic.
I tell you something really quickly, Rob. This quick experience, we were doing a training for one of our telecom companies, and one of our agents that was in training started to having convulsions and fell on the floor, and the only one that was with her was the little daughter. And thanks to the fact that we were able to call her phone and speak to her daughter on the phone, and being able to get the daughter calm, doing little things for her, then another one of the agents came into her house that lived not far from her. It was able to take care of her until the first responding came in. And their feedback to us was, if you guys would not have done what you did, this person would have been dead when we arrived there. So wow. The cell phone saved the life, or the connections, and of course the quick reaction of the team members saved the life of that individual. And that's us individuals that have nothing to do with, first responding cases and things like that. That for a police officer, a doctor, just 2-3 seconds that they can have to help a situation can make a difference.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. It really is. And it's a testament to, I think, to the closeness that people in this industry often get to feeling with their teammates, even if they're in a dispersed, virtual world. Maybe they're all working at home. Like those connections that they're making in this business with their teammates are often, right, they become lifelong friends, people that you talk to on a regular basis outside of work. And I am amazed by that story, right? Those connections save someone's life.
Absolutely. I mean, as you say, in this business, we gain friends, we gain sons, daughters, fathers, uncles, because that's the type of relationship that you build in here. And once you have that in a company where individuals see everybody else as a family member, it makes such a great difference. I know that is something that it's a lot of people talk about that. Oh, we have a family environment. We have a family environment. But when you really live into those standards where individuals know that the person next to you might be the most important person that you might have at that time because they might be the one that can save your life. And that makes such a big difference in a company. And I have been very blessed to have an opportunity to work with individuals like you that we share a very great relationship, and many other individuals throughout my career. Some of them, unfortunately, as you know, we lost recently due to COVID, and it really hurts your heart because it's individuals that you learn to love them as part of your family.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone that you and I both know did pass from COVID. And, I don't think that I had really known too many people in my work life that had passed away.
Mhm.
I just hadn't. And obviously, this last couple of years been very different for everyone. But I think it also allows us sometimes those moments make us really appreciative, right, of what we have and the connections that we have. And I remember having a conversation with someone, and I was able to provide some pictures that they didn't have of someone that they had lost. And it made me feel really good to know that I could just do something little,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
you know,
And memories of times that probably nobody else had with that individual but you. And
yeah,
those are things that they really make a difference in this business. A friend of ours recently put a post about the market and how this business is growing so much, and the fact that individuals are coming into positions where they're looking at the dollar sign and they're not looking what's behind it. This is a people's business. And
yeah,
if you do not have that passion to work with people, to understand that, number one, they're not going to be like you. They're going to be different than you. And you
yeah,
have to love them the way they are, and you have to work with them the way they are. That makes such a big difference. And I have been, again, blessed to be able to have individuals that have support me, that have trust me, that have believed on the way that I do things, and that have makes us have a relationship. And I have learned tremendously from them and their knowledge, and they have built a great network that today I use to the fullest.
yeah, yeah. That's fantastic. So one of the things that I think about when I think about our history, right, is that we haven't, up until very recently, we kind of lost connection.
Mhm.
And luckily, this podcast has prompted me to reach out to other people. And I think aside from, we've been talking about um, telecom and the power of that and the power of these relationships, but I think something else that is unique in kind of the now, if you will, is the power of social media. I don't know how I would have ever gotten a hold of you if it weren't for LinkedIn, right? I mean, we had probably not really talked in over 5 years, right?
Correct.
And so the power of social media also plays, I think, a role in connecting people, whether they're meeting new people or rekindling, right, those connections that maybe had been lost.
Absolutely. I mean, I have. thanks to the social media, as you say, and specifically in LinkedIn, I've been able to find individuals that who I started my career with back in 1994. And now, we have revived that friendship that we built back then, but it also has given us an opportunity to share some of the things that as an individual they have learned, and myself, and being able to compare, share best practices, and just bring great memories into plays that we need so many of those in these days. So definitely the power of media these days is incredible. It can be really good. It can also be really bad if you don't know how to
Yeah.
manage it, because it can definitely distract you a lot. But if you have the right perspective of it and how to use it, it's definitely an incredible tool that have been given to us now.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I'm wondering, because there are people listening who may at some point be given an opportunity to relocate, right? Whether it's in a BPO or could be any other business that they're in. I wonder what advice you would give someone that has that opportunity sitting right there in front of them.
Think about it, put it into perspective, but if it's the right thing to do, do it. It just opens up so many doors for you. I tell you today, I'm considering another opportunity to go to yet another different country than the ones that I have been in. And it's a fantastic company. The person that I will be working with is an individual that used to be in the company that I was with, has kind of like the same principles and culture that I have fostered all these years. And I see a great opportunity, not just for me to go and make money, but for me to go and contribute on what this company is trying to do. Because this is something that I always tell people: wherever you go, you're going to get paid. It's legal
Yeah.
that you're going to get paid. Don't worry about the money. Worry about what you can do with the opportunity that is given to you, the people that are going to be trusting you with their business, and what you can provide for them. And that's what really, if you feel that where you're going to go, the opportunity that they're giving you, you can go in and you can contribute and you can make people better, you can help that company to do better, take it. The opportunity, the experience is going to be great. You're not going to be sorry.
Yeah. I wonder how's the rest of your family reacted to all of the moves?
They are incredibly thankful. And I tell you, we joke about the fact that we have furniture in my vehicles that have traveled more than a lot of Americans have in their lifetime. Okay. And the fact that I have been able to take my family into different cultures and different environments have really opened up and brightened my family's perspective on how to view individual. Even here in the United States, that is such a variety of individuals from many countries, and how to respect everybody for who they are. Those are one of the things that you learn when you go to these places. Is you can't go to another country and trying to change the country. You have to change yourself and adapt to them. And that helps you to understand the variety of cultures that we have here in the United States, and how you are within your boundaries. You need to respect other individuals and the way they do things. And that makes the culture where you're in much richer in individuals, and you can enjoy life much better when you do those things.
Yeah, it really is. I think for a lot of Americans, their exposure to other cultures is pretty limited.
Mhm.
And when you open yourself up to that, it's amazing some of the joys that you can
It's
find, whether it's food or celebrations or just different ways of thinking about things. There is so much richness out there in different cultures that is just waiting. It's just
yeah.
waiting for you to find it.
Listen, I have friends in countries that I have never thought that I will have, that I was not able to make them here in the United States. And I have made friendships with them in another countries just because there's people from everywhere that takes those type of opportunities. And then you, as you're in there and you're not native, and then those other individuals are not native, those are kind of like the first people that you start clicking with because you both foreigners in there in that country, and then you start building relationships. And now I enjoy a variety of friends in many places in the world that I probably would have never been able to have the opportunity to make friendships here in the United States.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so not thinking about your upcoming opportunity or past places that you've been, if there was one location that you could go, like if you just got to pick to say, all right, I get to decide where I'm going to go, where would that be? Where would you just love to like end up?
End up, my
Yeah.
wife would call me for this one. Uh, really, like I'm Florida. I feel like Florida is the perfect place for me because of the location. That's probably where I wish I can end up. But there's many other places right now that I still want to go. I don't think that I'm ready to say I'm going to end up here. But if it does present the opportunity in Florida to stay and be there, I'll be happier as well. Very
You're a
happy.
Miami guy, right?
Uh, just a
Is that
little
the
bit
spot?
outside. Yes, outside of Miami, around there. But I just love Florida at all.
So what about Florida makes it so wonderful?
The variety of individuals. I like the climate. My wife doesn't like the climate that much, but just the variety of individuals, the way that people go about the life and so forth. To me, it's something that is very appealing. Um, when I go there, I feel like I'm home.
Yeah, no, I get that. Well, Nestor, look, it's been so great having you on. I know that you have other things to do today, and I really, really appreciate the time. It's great to catch up with you, and I appreciate you um, really taking the time to celebrate New Year's with us all.
Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate it. And I want to commend you. This is something amazing that you're doing, giving an opportunity for individuals to be known, but more than anything, also to share some of the experiences. I've seen the previous podcast that you have done, and I've learned so much from the guests that you have had. Please keep doing it. It's something that we really need, and it's very encouraging for all of us. I appreciate
Well,
it.
I appreciate the kind words. I really do.
Take care.
All right, Nestor, thanks for being in queue. We'll talk soon.
We'll be in touch.